My last rapid fire. Um, I watched the miniseries Moon Knight.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
I have a sleeping disorder. I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
I think I'm losing it.
We'll catch you on. You're bloody useless, Stevie.
Stephen. I can't tell the difference between life and dreams.
Which
I remember liking that, but well, I mean, you're gonna say it anyway. I'm gonna let you say it, but I remember liking that, but with an asterisk.
So I'll preface this with I'm not the biggest Moon Knight guy. I don't know
No.
all the details.
He is a
I do
complicated character.
I do know a few more since the first time I watched this because I have an audiobook which he's the main like one of the main guys, so it does give a little bit more. But so like for example, in this um it's Mark Spector and Stephen Grant.
Yeah, Stephen Grant is
Who
not normally the.
and well, there's normally three alters plus Kanji.
Yeah.
Um, and what I will say is which I didn't appreciate. So this is where it having the background knowledge makes you appreciate certain things more because yeah, there's a twist at the very end of it, to jump the gun a little bit that they do like at the end of the credits of the last episode or like mid credits of the
Yeah.
last episode, which I didn't get that the first time. Like
Oh, yeah,
I
I
didn't
did. I did. I know enough about
I
him to get
didn't
that. Yeah.
know I didn't know enough about the character to get that, so it meant nothing to me. This time around, I was like, that's clever. But so yeah, this was like 6 episodes long, something like that. It's a mini
Yeah, that
series.
sounds about right. Yeah.
40
Would
to
have been
50
better as a movie.
40 to 50 minutes per episode, give or take.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing with a lot of these miniseries and a lot of
So
these
much
shows
fat.
general is I just a lot of them would work better as a movie.
Yeah.
Just and you can tell a lot of them some of them were movies
Yep.
and you can tell. Now
This
I
is
don't know if
this one
I don't know
definitely.
if this one was, but I believe it was.
If sure, Phil,
Um
sure, call it Phil. I remember there's a lot of fat. The one thing I remember about the show was that it was frustrating how little Moon Knight was in it. I think there's an entire episode where he never shows up once, and it doesn't count when he's not in the costume. Like the fact that it's a CGI costume is frustrating because it makes it expensive, and like I just remember every time it got to an interesting thing, it would cut away. So like it does that thing where like he's about to fight a group of bad guys, and then it cuts away to the other version of him, and now all the bad guys are unconscious and bloody, and you're like, well, that would have been a fun action sequence.
yeah, and my thing and okay, so um
Also, but Steven is fun. Steven's fun, and I like his
I
costume.
mean, they're fun. Okay,
I did
my
enjoy
thing
his costume.
my thing ultimately is the characters are fun in this. I like Steven. I like Mark. And I think the person who is doing the acting, whose name I don't actually remember,
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. Thank you. I think he is a good Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Like I think he is a good person to play this role.
Just be nice if Moon
Uh,
Knight was in it more.
yeah, and I will say maybe that's to its credit where it's like I want more.
The pacing in
Like
these shows
I
is
want
never good. That's
I
the thing.
want I want a movie with this guy, or
Yes.
even like I'd settle for another 6 episodes, but I want a movie with this guy.
Like if
Um,
you shaved off all of the excess fat and fluff that fluffs out these shows into an unnecessary 6 episode show, and you trimmed it down to a 2 hour to a 2 hour 2 hour 15-minute movie, this would be much better. All of these are like this. All of them. And I remember this one
yeah,
also being like this, where it's like this
yeah,
would be an infinitely more interesting movie because I wouldn't have to spend an agonizing 5-minute scene of the characters standing around doing nothing.
yeah. And so now also as I watched it this time, and I was a little bit more familiar with the character, um, because I have to be honest, I part of why I chose to watch this is because I couldn't actually remember what happens in this show.
Yeah, fair enough.
Um, because I've only watched it the once, right? And and so as I'm watching it in the first little bit, I'm like, now I don't know that much about Moon Knight, but I'm pretty sure usually the like the main guy is Mark, not Steven.
Yeah, yeah. Usually it's Mark,
And
yeah.
so I was like, why are we following Steve? Like, that's an interesting choice to have us follow
That's
Steven. And then also as I'm watching it, I'm like, well, there's also usually a third one who does like the beat 'em up stuff, or like, where is he? Where is he? And I forgot that he largely isn't in this until that very last
yeah.
the scene that I alluded to earlier. Um, but
There's the hippo person. I remember the hippo person.
yeah, the Egyptian gods are fun. They're fun. And overall, it's yeah, it is a fun. I enjoy it. I prefer a movie.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. Is like I haven't decided yet how many of these are gonna be in one YouTube video, but like that's just the theme of these shows. Is this would be a much better movie. Like this would be.
I think it is.
They're
Anyway.
bad. I will say. I don't know if you experienced this. Although the first time you watched Moon Knight, you watched it in one go, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you didn't. I watched Moon Knight week to week. And wait, are you done with Moon Knight?
Yeah. That's. I mean, summation, final thoughts. Okay, show. It would be a better
Be a
movie.
better movie. So that's funny you say that, and this is gonna tie perfectly into my next one, which is I watched Hawkeye.
This is the first Christmas we've had together in years.
I love you guys. I'm making up for some lost time.
Authorities are wondering if the masked vigilante who terrorized the city's underworld is back.
The past has caught up with me.
Should we be worried?
No, it's nothing. I'll be home for Christmas. I promise.
It's the most wonderful time.
When I wore this suit, I made a whole lot of enemies.
And Hawkeye, same deal. This is a bad television show. It's badly paced. It's badly structured. There are scenes that go on for an agonizingly long time. They introduce like so many extraneous characters that all have extraneous backstories that go on for a fucking eternity. And the entire time I'm like, there are elements of the show I like. Oh, that's what I was gonna ask you. Did you watch? You watched I did ask you this, Moon Knight. I watched Moon Knight week to week, and it made it painful. It was like, oh, just as this is getting interesting, it's ending, right? Just as it's starting to get in. So when you watch them all together, they're a little less agonizing. Like, the pacing is still bad, don't get me wrong. The pacing is atrocious. They're wildly uneven, and they are evidently were originally movies. And this is definitely one of them. And, like, when Hawkeye and Kate Bishop are together, they're really fun. I really enjoy Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. I like her interactions with Clint Barton. They're really fun. The story is pretty fun. The humor is really funny. There's a really funny character or running gag where the bad guys are this group of criminals called the Tracksuit Mafia, and one of them he's bought concert tickets to Imagine Dragons, and his girlfriend doesn't want to go and is upset with him, and he can't figure out why. And the Kate Bishop's like, have you considered like talking to her and figuring out what's going on? And he's like, no, I bought these tickets. She should be stoked. Why isn't she stoked? And so then at the end, they're captured, and the same bad guy comes up, and she's like, yeah, it turns out you were right. You know, I took her to the Maroon 5 concert instead, and she was way happier. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you for that. It's really funny. But like, yeah, there's so many extraneous characters that are not interesting, like that are unnecessary. Like, you could completely cut out Echo, Maya. There's a character, her name is Maya. She works for Kingpin, and she wants to kill the whole plot of this is the bad guys are trying to get the Ronin suit that Hawkeye wore when he was Ronin in the years between when the snap happened and Endgame happened. He was an evil ninja character, and he killed people. And so Maya wants to kill him. And the suit that he wore has gone on sale, and the bad guys want it, and they want the sword. And the entire time you think that Kate Bishop's stepdad, I'm going to spoil this show, but you think that the mom's fiance is the evil one, and it turns out, spoiler alert, that Maya, who very famously Echo in the comics works for Kingpin, like she has a relationship with Kingpin, that's her deal, but Kingpin shows up, and it turns out, that she works for Kingpin, and that Kingpin arranged to have her dad killed. And so there's an entire episode where the first 30 minutes of an hour-long episode are this sluggish backstory about Maya, and then Maya just disappears for like an episode and a half. She's just gone. She's just not in the show. And they do it again. They do another character, and then in the back half of it, Yelena shows up out of nowhere, and you find out what happened to her after Black Widow, where you find out that she got snapped and she disappeared, and she came back, and that's how she wound up in Thunderbolts, how she's working for the whatever character, the Val character. This show sort of explains how that happened, and that's Thunderbolts is still kind of part of that problem of like, if you don't watch this, you have no idea why what's her face is working for this random woman. But this sort of explains what happened to her. She shows up and she wants to kill Clint Barton, because Clint Barton, she finds out that she thinks that Clint Barton killed Black Widow, the original Black Widow, Natasha, and so she's trying to get revenge on her. And so then she shows up, and there's just an agonizingly long, it goes on forever explaining her backstory, and you're like, oh my god, the pacing in this is horrible. But she's really funny, and there's a really funny scene with her and Kate Bishop, where she shows up at Kate Bishop's place, and she's like, I didn't break and enter. I entered. I did not try to hurt you. I removed an obstacle.
I did not try to kill you. A, I put you on a wire to remove an obstacle, and B, I did not break anything. I am way too talented than that. And C, stop being so defensive. Okay? You're so hostile. I'm not going to hurt you. I promise. I don't have any weapons on me. Okay, I take that back. I don't have any weapons currently in my hands.
She's eating, as she's eating macaroni or whatever. She comes back in a later episode, and Kate Bishop is like, "Stop making me like you." And I'm like, man, that just kind of sums up Yelena in a sentence of
hey,
stop being so charismatic and likable. I don't like you. I don't. But I've seen people say that they like her better than the original, which I like her better than the original. You could completely cut out Maya and Kingpin and have it just be about Yelena and Clinton and that. There's too many things in this show, and none of them are really all that interesting, and they get pulled for stretched for so long to facilitate.
So you would say none of them are really shooting as straight as an arrow.
No, this movie would be much better if it were there's so much of it where they're not together, and it's just 40 minutes or 30 minutes or 20 minutes of a character who isn't really on the show. Here's a 30-minute in the second to last episode. Here's a 30-minute involved backstory on Yelena, a character who hasn't really been in the show up until this point. Why do I care? Or there's a big long extended backstory between Kingpin and Kingpin shows up, and I think Vincent D'Onofrio's amazing. He's so good. He's really good in this. The Kingpin, he's intimidating, he's scary. But Jordan, say it with me now. It would have been
better as a movie.
We'll do it, Jordan. It
would have been better as a movie.
It would have been better as a movie. The pacing of it is horrendous. It's bad. But the sense of humor is good. There's action sequences that are fun, that are good. And I'm like, yeah, if this were a compact 2-hour movie, and I was sitting in a movie theater watching this, and I wasn't on hour 3, yeah, this would be better. Also, like, the fact that none of the episodes have the same length is annoying. Where you're like, oh yeah, this one's 40 minutes, and the next one's an hour long for some idiotic reason. It's annoying.
It's particularly annoying because you can tell that the ones that become shows are the ones that they didn't have confidence would actually sell as movies.
No, so they got tossed
So like
into
Moon Knight, for example, it's like clearly you can tell some executive saw that or saw the pitch for it or whatever, was like, I don't know, this one feels a little too out there, feels a little too weird. Maybe just throw it on streaming. Or yours is like, I don't know. I don't know if those characters are really popular enough to warrant going
Pretty
to
much.
theaters. We'll just throw it on streaming.
But,
It'll be fine.
It influences the universe going forward because Kate Bishop is obviously coming back, and yeah, there's a lot of funny, like, there's not to say that, again, not to say that it's a bad show. Oh, that was the thing I wanted to bring up. I have to bring up when I'm talking about Hawkeye before I move on. I have to bring up the musical.
To hear you say, I could do this all day. The Hulk is incredible, smashing things up, while Iron Man takes to the sky.
Because so many people misunderstand that musical, and it drives me crazy. That musical, Jordan,
Yes.
that musical is supposed to be bad. That's the joke.
It's supposed to be campy,
No,
right?
the joke is that it's a bad. It's because the thing you have to. It's not that it's campy. It's that
bad, campy, same thing.
No, because campy is intentional. The joke with this is because the thing you have to put it in the universe. That is a Broadway musical, right? That they've gone to see Broadway. So that means they're paying Broadway prices for what is essentially a theme park level effort. Like, the costumes are bad, the music is bad, the choreography is bad. Like, it's a bad musical. It's not a well-made musical. But that's the joke. The joke is that it's terrible. Like, Hulk, this is like the thing about Broadway musicals is they have a budget. Like, they're expensive. Like, you're paying $100 to go see Hulk. Instead of getting a decent Hulk costume or a decent Captain America costume or a decent Iron Man costume, Iron Man is wearing a hoodie. Like, can you imagine if you paid $140 to go watch the event, Steve Rogers the musical on Broadway, and Iron Man was wearing a hoodie? You would be outraged. I think it's supposed to be a kind of a self-joke on the Spider-Man musical, where one of the lizard was just an inflatable dummy. Like at one point they have Bonesaw, and he's just like one of those rubber, like inflatable things. I think it's supposed to be a gag on that, but people were like getting mad at it on the internet because this is obviously, during TikTok exists, so everyone is a critic, but everyone was like, oh, it's so bad, and Marvel made it, and it's so bad, and it's like, yeah, no, the joke is that it's supposed to be bad. Like, it's a terrible musical. Like, that's supposed to be the joke, is that it's kind of like it's a really hokey, terrible musical about a tragedy in universe. Like, I finally came up with a good analogy, but taking Hawkeye to that musical would kind of be like taking one of the firefighters who had friends who died in 9/11 to a 9/11 the musical. Like, he's like, yeah, that's my friend. She died. Like, it's a really shitty musical to take your dad who has obvious PTSD from this.
Yeah.
Also,
I understand.
There's a moment, and I think they carry this on into later shows, but there's a moment where you see a sticker, and it says Thanos was right. And all I could think about was how, like, if this took...
Oh.
Right? Like, all I could think about was how if this show, like, if this took place in the real world, you would have, like, Tucker Carlson or, like, Matt Walsh or, like, one of those right-wing dipshits.
Maybe he wasn't so bad. Maybe he really had the right idea all along.
No, not even just they did that, but no, they would be like, oh, why should we have to give out? I moved in and I got this house fair and square. Why should I have to move out of Gary's house just because Gary happened to reappear after 5 years. Gary was legally dead for 5 years. It's not my responsibility to shelter and clothe these blippers. Like, you know, there'd be a derogatory term for them. They'd be like blippers.
Well, I mean,
or...
that is pretty much what happened in universe.
They do kind of a version of it, but you just know that there'd be like, they don't really go enough into it. I think in it they don't go enough because obviously. Like those kind of things became real, like your.
I was more talking in like the Sam Wilson show, where I mean that isn't that kind of the point of that show is that people are like it's not our fault that these people got blipped away and now they have to like find a place for them.
They did kind of go into it, not quite as with as much depth as I think they could have, but yeah, they definitely did. Yeah, but yeah, like when people are like, oh, that universe is ridiculous, but yeah, no, that would happen in real life. You'd have like
absolutely
you'd have Fox
that would happen
News being
in real
like, we
life.
shouldn't have to take care of people who disappeared for 5 years. Breitbart.
What? We have to subsidize these losers who got blipped away.
How is it my fault they got blipped
like? How
away
is it
and I
my
did?
fault they did? I was the successful one who had to stay behind and actually work for 5 years, make my life. I had to move on because they died. They got to just exist in limbo, and I had to move on. I had to mourn these people, and I had to find a new place and build my new home just for them to reappear and get to take their home back.
What's funny?
That's what it would be like.
What's funny though is like you could tell though that that they kind of, not that they regret it, but that they regret how they did that or how they handled it, because that so much of that universe they want it to be like right now, but technically speaking it had a 5-year time jump and this big traumatic thing that happened that they constantly have to address or deal with now that will forever like be a part of that universe until they reset it, which they're gonna do. But yeah, no, better as a movie. I've let this go on too long. Better as a movie. Hey there, everybody. It's NCard Justin here. Let me know down in the comments. Do you agree or disagree? Would these be better as movies, or are they just perfectly fine television shows? Let me know down in the comments what you think. But in the meantime, you can click the box on the left, and that's going to take you to our full Marvel special, where we're talking about all kinds of Marvel stuff: Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, you know, all those guys. Click the box on the left. Or, if you want to see a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy, you can click the box on the right. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. We put new videos out 7 days a week, or you can just hit like. That helps us out as well. We will see you all in the next video. Have a good day, everybody.